enjoy me shaking my head in my negative nasty feel after that Buffalo game where they don't. All I can tell you is Dolphins number one, baby!
Next up, baby.
Dolphins number one!
I swear, if a certain quarterback is mentioned in the comments, got my beers ready, I'm going to crack it open.
Or is it a Serbian kid?
Serbian kid,
This looks done. Oh my god, it looks fantastic.
I hate you so much. No, you beat it, man. Gotta beat it, man. Woo! I'm the man. I said it, and it's reality. All right,
Congratulations.
What's going on, folks? What's going on? Huddle up and waiters, because that's what we were doing in the back, waiting on certain someone. God, always.
I had to make sure my crazy pills were good.
Well, I mean, I don't. If your crazy pills are off, I mean, you were exactly on time. So I don't know if that's a sign or something or what.
I don't know.
Well, military time, you were 15 minutes late.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was definitely. I was on time, so I was late. I was Tom Coughlin.
I'm gonna start yelling at ease when we start getting in the back of the room.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Oh,
again,
man.
so thank you for coming here. Obviously, together with my awesome co-host Bret. Hold on, Gassi. Sorry, I had to spice it up since I'm an East.
We're gonna add a little Spanish into the French.
I'm
That's
an
cool.
East 10th Hialeah honorary boy now, so I got to go ahead and spice it up. But no,
like it.
go ahead and like and subscribe, folks. Please, since you're here with the Fins Talk Sports Network and Huddle Up and Wait, we are glad to have you. Now, let's just jump right in because it's been a mess this last week. Everything's been everywhere in free agency. You've had trades go down, potential trades possibly happening, other big moves. I mean, it's just nuts. And then there's been other stuff coming out today, and I'm just going to jump right into that real quick. So,
Yeah.
Jimmy G's press conference did not happen today. Like it was postponed a day or two after today. So now I think there's something up. Like, because I've been reading into stuff online, and apparently he either failed his physical or he's getting his contract more because he's not happy with it. That's what I was hearing.
Really?
So the Raiders are obviously having an issue with it. So
Huh. What? I don't know. I feel like a lot of that stuff gets messed up.
why'd you look confused by that? You look completely flabbergasted.
No, sorry. I was reading that and I was reading my list of my notes, and
it's heaven.
no, not the opinion. I was reading my notes as I was listening to you, but I feel like the tampering period is awesome. Like, I like the tampering period because now it's like the NFL, instead of like, we can't beat them, join them. I like the fact that it's like, you guys do it anyway. Just we'll give you a couple days earlier, even though you're doing it before that. We already knew teams do that long before.
The only thing they're going to enforce is the salary cap. That's it. Like the actual line you need to be under at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. That's it.
Right.
Like, guys, have at it. We don't care. No, the salary cap is not a myth. I've seen teams get dinged for it, especially if you're not getting
No.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to say. The salary cap, I have something to say if we got time later. That's all.
Salary cap? What? Chris Gray doesn't know how to spend? What?
No. I got something else to say. It's way beyond that.
No. I know it's going to grind your gears the whole show. Get it out now.
All right. So I'll make this a short version. The salary cap is not for teams. It's not. If it was, it wouldn't be so easy to manipulate everything. Because sometimes you think about, like, when they do the CBA, you're listening to the rules, you're like, oh, well, they can convert that to a bonus. One kind of gets the salary cap. You're like, well, how's that really hurt the owners? Like, oh, well, other teams can't spend. So in baseball, a lot of people are like, oh, smaller market teams don't have as much to spend. Well, there's still revenue share all the way across the board. So in baseball, even though there's no cap, they still have revenue sharing. So they still share a pot of the money. So, yeah, some owners still have more money, but the revenue sharing, it's still a set amount that they spend. It's just there's no cap to go over, so they can structure contracts however they want. Agree with it, disagree with it, but the owners actually use this salary cap as an excuse to not pay players what they should get. It's an excuse to not give them guaranteed money. It's an excuse to not give guys Lamar Jackson what he's asking for with the guaranteed money.
Shouldn't need a salary cap.
I'm saying the salary cap. I don't know if it's not like no salary cap. I'm not an extreme one way or the other. I'm just saying maybe there should be some more flexibility, adopt some of the basketball rules. I like their idea of what was it, one free agent doesn't count against the cap or only so much counts against. I don't really know basketball that well, but I know there's some like cushions there so they don't lose a bunch of players, and it keeps keeps teams competitive so they're not constantly losing players. And I like that. And I think the NFL could do that. And I get the salary cap makes it more competitive, but you see the Chiefs and Saints have been negative, and yet the Chiefs look where they were. So, you know, to me, it's just a way for them to just manipulate some of the player contracts. And I think originally the idea was to keep it balanced. And now the revenue has gotten so big, so much that it doesn't matter anymore. So even small markets like Green Bay would still succeed. But if you got rid of a cap, I think a lot of the bigger markets like the Jets, the Giants, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, like all those teams that with owners that are willing to spend. Let's be honest, there's owners who, even though they have the money, they're still not really willing to spend their cheap. Like, look what the Bengals are doing with the whole insurance thing and workers' comp thing, which is not illegal, but not very ethical either. Ethics and law don't always go together. So there's that. I'm just saying, it's just with this whole thing with, we got to maneuver cap. The Dolphins cleared $50 million in cap space in a week. Like, and the cap's not real. Well, no, it's just the owners can manipulate it however they see fit. It's all wording.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I mean, I still feel it needs to be there regardless, because you just said the smaller markets need to be evened out.
Not against it, but
the baseball and stuff like that. I mean, look at all the bigger markets, all the players.
Something else could happen. They need to change it, I think. And with quarterbacks, and keep this in mind, with quarterbacks asking for what they're asking for and the guaranteed money they're asking for, which people blame Deshaun Watson, but look what Kirk Cousins got, like $80 million guaranteed or whatever.
No, it was 100% guaranteed. Everything was guaranteed.
No, yeah, it was 100% of his $80 million was guaranteed. That's what I'm saying. So, what I'm saying, like, these teams are going to start saying, "Hey, I got Patrick Mahomes. I need to keep him." Well, instead of losing these players, like the Seahawks, remember when they signed Russell, the Ravens, they signed Flacco, and they lost all these players. I think what we might start seeing is where it's like, well, they're wanting so much guaranteed money, you're going to have to give us a soft cap where we can say that player, so much of his guaranteed money doesn't count against the cap, because we have no choice but to pay these quarterbacks that, and I don't want to lose my quarterback and half my team. And teams like the Ravens falling apart, the Seahawks falling apart is not good for the NFL. It's not good for marketing. Having a good quarterback end up with a desolate team is not good for the NFL when you have this star quarterback who's just struggling on a team with nothing around him.
Who's
because
that on?
I know. I'm just teams still have to draft well. I'm just saying, like, it's the same thing in basketball when you see like the shift in power and you see like teams fall. It's not good for basketball when you see like teams just kind of fall apart when they were like had so much promise and they had so much hype.
Get a new GM.
Yeah, it is. You still have to draft well, but at the same time, how much talent pulls. So it's something to consider anyway.
I mean, look at New Orleans. New Orleans Pelicans were horrible for years in the NBA. Not to shift leagues, folks, but now these past couple of years, they're in the playoffs every year. Like, they're getting back to that what they were when they were in New Orleans earlier in their franchise. So it's the whole
I'm just saying, like,
I get what you're saying.
There's could be change. There should be changes.
The weirdest what grinds Bret's gears ever.
It's
I didn't expect that at all.
Are
you feel? Wait, hold on. Are you complaining about this because Lamar's left lonesome in Baltimore right now? Is that what you're doing?
No, but
don't even lie.
But if you think about it, the Ravens learned people like the Ravens being cheap. No one wants to look at both sides of the story. Yes, I tend to take the player side more than the owners because, let's face it,
agent makes a difference.
Right. At the same time, let's look at Lamar and what the Ravens ran into with Flacco. They're not trying to make the same mistake again because they are a well-run organization. So I understand the Ravens standpoint to be cautious. Like, look, Lamar, you're a running guy. If you get hurt, we guaranteed you all this money. Our salary cap's exploded. We have no room to do anything like we did with Flacco. So we don't want to do that and have a few down years again. So I totally understand where they're coming from.
good transition because that moves us into potential moves that are going on right now. Speaking of the Ravens,
totally on accident.
Odell Beckham Jr. is talking to the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Cowboys right now. Now, folks, I know the Ravens and Cowboys are in it, but what bigger betting like on the table do you have as the Chiefs going, hey, you get to play with Patrick Mahomes. He's the league MVP. He's a Super Bowl champ twice. Oh, there's Andy Reid, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Like, what better way? The Cowboys, yeah, they're attractive. They're going to pay you, but I mean, the Chiefs. Do you want another ring or not, Odell?
Right, and see, Baltimore's in that. If Lamar was under contract, right? But if Lamar's under contract, it might be like a no-brainer. But now you're like, well, look, Dallas, like you said, they got the past, they got money, and they'll spend money. Jerry Jones will spend money. And then you got, like you said, Patrick Mahomes. So it depends on what Odell wants. Does Odell want to compete again, or does he want to play from like just to get that check? I don't know.
We'll see.
Either way, it's intriguing fits.
When he got cut from the Rams, he did say, "Oh yeah, it's not about the money. I'm not going to sign for the money." And then he took the deal with the most money, who offered him, just ironically enough, was the Rams. So, just saying.
Yeah.
Another one, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. All right, so. Eagles got a huge big move with Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Bradbury, Slay all going back to him. That was a huge get, running back, but it looks like they might have chosen Slay over Gardner-Johnson because Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's tweet today was like, wow, the disrespect.
The disrespect is real.
There was a deal in place from what I understood. There was a deal in place with him to come back. They pulled it. And redid Slay's contract, and now they're trying to go back after Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He said no. So, folks, it looks like he might be playing somewhere else. That's big.
I want to know the difference because he said no, and they already had a deal kind of in place. And then I think, if I had to guess, Howard Roseman is one of the more underrated GMs in the NFL.
Not underrated.
Don't believe me.
He's a good GM. There's no doubt about it.
And so there was probably a reason they were like, hold up. They got Slay under contract, make sure he's good, which in Gardner Johnson's defense, that looks like he's trying to they're prioritizing Slay. So I get it. I understand that. And then they go back and get him. So here we were thinking that the Eagles are losing all these players that they're not going to try to run it back, but the players they lost, they have replacements for. Hargrave, right? They have Jordan Davis. TJ Edwards, they had Nakobe Dean. Whether they're good enough or not, that's up to the Eagles, but they feel they have the replacements there, so they didn't have to pay them. That's smart business. I just told my best friend who's an Eagles fan, listen, dude, you got to really think about this. Like the Eagles don't spend money where they're good at drafting. Where are they good at drafting? Front seven, offensive line, which is why they were always in this, or they're always in it, and they don't pay their offensive linemen, except for guys that are like long-term, guys like Lane Johnson, but they don't pay them a lot of money because they're able to find new ones all the time. And they do a great job at it.
Well, I mean, it also helps getting Jason Kelsey back along them and everything else to try and have them run it back even more. But it's just the whole thing of like, I get why Howie did it, but it's just why not prioritize Slay from the beginning instead of even offering a deal to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, pulling it, and then doing it again. Like that was.
It sounds like
and I get it.
It almost sounds like they feel like Gardner Johnson's replaceable
because
Slay isn't.
I know you probably agree with this. Cornerback is a premier position on the defense. Starting corners outside. Not. Safeties are clear as day. Not. That's just how it is. You saw the paychecks.
Mm-hmm. Like and Gardner Johnson was a corner.
What? No, he was
a corner.
But say
but with the Saints, but he struggled with the Saints. Well, I don't want to say struggle. No, he played pretty good.
No, he didn't struggle with the Saints. I think he did pretty well in the ones.
When he moved to that safety nickel role, that's when he really played well. But Gardner Johnson also, then this free agency period has been kind of quiet. So there's something going on. Like teams are holding off for some reason.
He was going to re-sign with Philly. They pulled it to re-sign Slay.
But you would think there'd be a market for him. You would think that there's a market for him. Like, quick. I mean, maybe. But I would have expected him if Philly didn't have their shit together, there'd be already a deal ready to go. Because a lot of these guys, like, I'm working with his team, but there's a deal over here that's about my backup plan.
It's not the money he was expecting. You got guys like Jesse Bates, 4 years, $64 million, and you're getting less than half guaranteed. And then you've got Jimmy Ward going for 2 years, $13 million. Like, that's chump change for good safeties. And Chauncey
Exactly.
Gardner, Juan Thornhill didn't even get a good deal, and he went to Cleveland, and he just won the Super Bowl. So it just shows
Safeties-
it's just not a premier position.
Safeties are not. And to me, I think so. No, safeties are not a premier position. Corners, pass rushers are premier positions. It's the same reason
Outside
why as a
linebackers,
Dolphin,
those three
right
on defense. Yeah.
Yep. As long as they especially if they're rushing the passer more. So you have interior defensive linemen, unless they affect the pass, I'm hesitant to pay them. So Hargrave, I know he affects the pass, but I think it was smart of the Eagles to not pay him. I'm
But he
drawing a
went
blank
to
on his
probably the
name.
best defense in the NFL, and now they're even better. Like San Francisco's defense is going to be absolutely nuts next year.
Well, yeah, they are, and they're always well coached. But look, who was the Commanders' defensive tackle that was signed? Drawing a blank on his name. Well, it wasn't Jonathan Allen.
Which one? Sorry. Which one?
The one for the Commanders. Drawing a blank on his name, not Jonathan Allen. The guy he played
Dennis
with.
Allen. Dennis Allen. Who?
The one he played with in Alabama. Anyway, I'll think it'll come to me. So
sorry, it's
he got
curveball. I was looking at something,
and I'm thinking about these guys. Sorry, that happens. These guys getting paid, and I'm like, man, it was Payne, right? Payne's the one that got paid. Yeah,
Ron Payne, Washington. Yes.
Yeah, he just got paid, right? So you're looking at these, man. I like Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. I thought that was really good to get them, but I really think thanks, Evan. Sorry, I was doing too much at once. Appreciate it. Evan did put in Payne. Those guys got paid a lot, and I have a hard time paying guys like that. Yeah, they both affect the quarterback, but now you look at for the Dolphins situation with Wilkins. You kind of look at he starts to end up on maybe a trade block in essence, or available for trade because he's in his 5th-year option. But am I going to pay a guy like that? I love Wilkins. I think he's an awesome player. I think he's awesome against the run. I think he's a great leader.
Just not a pass rusher. It's just
right. And if you're a run defender, I can find run defenders, especially when I'm in cap strap. Now, if I'm in a win now, I might pay a guy like Wilkins, but I'm not sure that we're there. So it's these guys get paid 15. And I'm not saying they don't deserve it. Hey, I'm all about it. Look, if you're in your 20s, very early 30s, get paid. I'm all about it. It's not your fault the team paid you, and maybe you don't live up to your value. That's the risk they take. But it's an investment. So whatever. These guys, I don't. That's a market that's not a premier position, but they're getting paid. And I think back to Gardner Johnson, it's premier positions are getting paid, and I'm not. So it's what gives? Well, each team is different. It's hard to look at Jesse Bates getting paid. Well, the Eagles might not value the safety position in their defense, in their new system as much. And maybe the new defensive coordinator is you know what? I like Gardner Johnson. If we can get him for the money, cool. If not, I think we can move on with somebody else. It sucks, but it's the business. But there's always work for a guy like Gardner Johnson. He will land on his feet. A team like New England would snatch him up. The Jets would snatch him up. Again, the 49ers. All these teams are great fits for him.
Don't even jinx that. Why would you even say Chauncey Gardner Johnson to the 49ers? They just lost Jimmy Ward, so they need to stop. Don't say it. I don't care if the Tigers this year. I don't.
I'm just saying. Or how about the Ravens? They need corners and say. I mean, well, no, they just traded.
No, because they got Kyle Hamilton. Yeah. And they got their other safety back there.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I know the Ravens were depleted, but they're more depleted at corner. But no, yeah. So, but there's nobody wants to go to the Bengals though.
Hey, safety. We have no one. Adrian Amos is off.
There you go.
So we have no one.
There you go. So that's another one that's a good fit. So I'm sorry, Anthony. This is the NFL show, though, so we got to be honest and unbiased. He's a good fit. You know how Bill Belichick is with that safety / nickel guy. He loves that. So he loves guys that could do that. He was one of the guys that did that heavily. Remember with Terrell Buckley and some other guys back in the day. So,
well, speaking of the Packers, what I was pointing to earlier, the big ugly elephant in the room. Big moves. We had that on our list. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, potential trade happening right now. Rodgers came out yesterday and said, it's so weird. He went on the McAfee show. Everyone was pissed because he said, yeah, it's not a show. I'm going to make my decision or announce anything, and trolled everyone. And then, well, Pat, let me just take this real quick and you can sit down here. And then next thing you know, freaking just, Green Bay and I met, told me they're going to move in another direction. Very, very respectful about it, and we agree we're going different ways. I'm going to the Jets, and I'm like, Aaron, you literally just said you're not going to announce anything. Like, you trolling bastard. And it's just how he is. He's always that cryptic dude that tries to send these mixed messages and then finally lands on it. Now, this is a conference shakeup, the whole league shakeup, because he was kind of that last big guy you talked about in the NFC. There was Brady, there was Rodgers. Well, it hurts just to take the next step into being in that elite tier of play. But no, Josh, from what I'm hearing, the deal is closer than what everyone's talking about. Trey Wingo just said that about 30 minutes ago.
It's going to happen. I don't know why Rodgers is being dramatic about it. It's pretty much –
No, it's not Rodgers. It's not Rodgers. This is the situation. Rodgers isn't the one holding this up. He says he wants to go to the Jets. The Jets, the big issue is the Jets want to try and redo the Bret Favre situation, saying, oh, yeah, we'll give you a conditional fourth for Rodgers. The Packers said no. They dug their heels in and say, pick 13, mid-round pick, we're happy. And I don't understand why the Jets did not to sit there and wait, because it hurts them. The Packers already have Rodgers on the books for the numbers. They can sit there and just sit, let him sit, whatever, and just sit on the roster. They already have his numbers. So nothing else is going to be affected. The $60 million goes in effect week 1 of 2023. And if he doesn't get traded, he already said he's going to retire. So either way, we don't get to pay the $60 million. And
it'd be funny as hell to see all these receivers that were wanting.
Lazard already signed before he announced. He jumped the gun.
They got all these guys, right? They got Alan Lazard. They're going after Cobb. We're going after Mercedes Lewis. I actually don't know if they actually went through. You got Sauce Gardner wanting them. You got all these guys wanting them. Some of the receivers that wanted them might be out of a job now. Who knows? But all these guys wanted them.
That wasn't it.
And so now they're like, well, what do we do? Like, and now it would be funny, sucky for Jets fans. It would be, but it would be pretty typical of what happens with the Jets. And I don't know if they're cursed or what, but for Rodgers to retire, it'd be kind of shitty too. I mean, but then again, this is the games you play. But I don't feel bad for Zach Wilson. I really don't. Zach Wilson has this entitled attitude, and they say if you bring in competition for a guy, I'm going to make his life hell every day. Well, if Rodgers gets there, you're going to pretty much just be sucking your thumb, because Rodgers is good. You're not going to be Rodgers, and then if you even try to be like him, you're just really going to fail. But like you blame the defense after a game. Like, I don't feel bad that these defensive players are like, yeah, we want Rodgers. I mean, why wouldn't you want Rodgers?
Almost the whole roster has come out publicly
right.
saying we want
like, and these guys don't support Zach Wilson at all. Like, that's it. They haven't come out and supported him.
Anthony, I did, bud. I don't agree with what you said. He didn't stroke his own ego there. He was announcing he was going to the Jets. Somebody needed to do it, and Green Bay wasn't going to do it. So that's why Rodgers did that, to announce officially, because it had to be done to announce it. So then that way the Jets can go forward with this to proceed, because he hasn't told anybody anything until he went on that show. But anyways, I definitely agree with that. There's nobody else besides Zach Wilson there. There's Carson Wentz on the free agent market. There's Matt Ryan. What are the Jets going to do? Go get Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan? No. They already said they want a quarterback to help lead them into the playoffs. Rodgers will help do that.
Left.
But
they're going to trade for Stafford?
I've seen a lot of Jets fans come out and say, oh, no, we're going to wait till the draft, and we're going to draft one. I'm like, buddy, you pick 13. You're not going to draft Hendon Hooker. They're not going to draft Hendon Hooker at pick 13. What's the point of waiting this first and next year's first to trade up and possibly get QB that you need to work on anyway?
Nothing against this quarterback class, but
it's not elite. That's why 2024 is elite.
Yeah, like, who are you going to get in this class that's actually good? That's going to be
everything.
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. Well, I don't want to say guaranteed, because nothing's guaranteed, but who do you feel comfortable with passing on Rodgers for in this draft? Let's put it that way. Nobody, in my opinion.
The Jets would need to give a haul to the Panthers to get number one.
And they have the picks. I mean, they have the picks they were going to give for Rodgers, I guess, but now you're going with a rookie with all this. It just doesn't work. And it's cheaper. Josh, All right, so Josh asked, excuse me, now is it smart for the Jets to wait until after the draft? So for me, that's a
Doesn't do anything.
two answers, yes and no. So yes, because I mean, yeah, it's cheaper because now you're trading 24, 25 picks, but now you run a chance of
But
other
Green Bay's
teams
gonna
who don't
want
have
more.
a first. Right. So now you run another after the draft, like same thing with Lamar Jackson. You got to think about it this way: after the draft, now there's teams who don't have a first this year are now could enter that conversation because now they have a first in 24. Now they have a first in 25, or they could posture in the draft and like, hey, the Jets, it's the draft, and the Jets can get Rodgers.
Breaking news: Greedy Williams from the Browns, really good corner, just signed a 1-year deal with the Eagles. So now you have Slade. Now you have Slade, Bradbury, and Greedy Williams. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Now Bradbury goes back to the slot where he should be in the nickel, and now you got Greedy on the outside, and Greedy he could be he's kind of underperformed what people expected, but he could be good. He's also been injured too, I think, so he could be a good corner. Wow.
Oh my god, dude!
To me,
gonna...
so Roseman is good friends with Greer. And the one thing that Greer does really well is 1-year prove-it deals. You prove it, you get extended. He did that with Oakball. He did that with the couple. That's to me, it's a good philosophy. Get him on a cheap 1-year deal. Hey, you come in, you make some noise, you play well, we'll reward you with the pay.
It
works.
1-year deal.
I'm okay with that kind of. I actually like that. That's smart GM, and that's something where Greer does really well. But Howie Roseman probably doing the same thing. Let's see what he's got. He plays well. We'll go ahead and extend him a couple more years. But no, that's a good move.
Jeez. I want to see how much it's for because
Howie is such a damn good GM. I had a conversation with my friend about that. We were talking about Howie, and I said Howie was under Andy Reid as like a scout director scouting, and then he worked his way up there.
Yep.
Andy Reid, a lot of people don't know Andy Reid does a lot of front office work. He does a lot of evaluating himself, and he's very heavily involved in personnel. That's why that teams everywhere he goes succeed. He's very heavily involved in personnel. Same way Sean Payton is, all that. So, and he knows what he's looking at, but he also develops his coaches and his scouts and all that. So Howie Roseman kind of came up in that system, and then Howie kind of keeps that system going. And then when Chip Kelly was hired, it was out of his hand, and then Chip Kelly wanted control. So Howie was able to say, go ahead, Chip. It's your show. You get the guys you want. And Howie's used to that. Like, he has a coach for years that pretty much wanted to get his guys, and Howie Roseman's like, you know what? Go ahead. Do your thing, Chip. It's all yours. And all of a sudden, everything started falling apart. The DeMarco Murray signings, the Marcus Smith draft, all of a sudden, nothing was working. Getting Kiko Alonso for LaShawn McCoy. He traded a all-pro back for a bust linebacker that's injury prone. It was just constant, bad moves. And Howie Roseman waited it out. And then when Chip was fired, Howie took over. Boom, Eagles go to Super Bowl 2 years later. Eagles back in the Super Bowl. He has done a phenomenal job. He builds the trenches really well. He builds the front seven really well. He builds the core of the team. And then he usually, this is where his downfall is, he usually gets special, the impact players like receivers and corners and stuff like that. He gets them in the draft or in the in free agency, which, you know what? He doesn't have to pay a lot of money for offensive line and defensive line. So he can allot that money to receivers, to corners, and his quarterback. So, which that's something else they're going to have to do here soon.
So, I know that was breaking news. Big for the Eagles defense because it kind of allows them to focus a little more on the draft for safety, stuff like that. But back to the Rodgers thing. All in all, in summary, I think the deal gets done. I do think pick 13 ends up getting moved for Rodgers and maybe another conditional middle round pick. Say if it's like a third or fourth, Rodgers plays and they make the divisional round with the Jets, it goes up to a second. And if it's anything less, it goes to a fourth or fifth. That's what I think happens. All in all, I think they're going to settle on the 13th pick, another pick with it, or a player. Rodgers has a $60 million bag with it. That's where I think the struggle is right now. It's not even the trade compensation. It's more the who's going to pay more of the paycheck. That's what I see. But all in all, I think it gets done. Brett, do you think this gets done?
I think it gets done. I think it's pretty much done deal. Wouldn't surprise me because I've never seen nothing ever surprised me in the NFL. We've seen shit go haywire.
Well, yeah, it could fall through. Another team could enter. We never know.
Right. We have seen things go haywire in South. So yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's 90% chance getting done.
So favorite moves moving up. Oh, hold on. Folks, since you're here, if you joined us after the start of the show, like and subscribe. Loved having you. Reading the comments here. Please, again, like and subscribe. Fins Talk Network, Huddle Up and Wait. Other shows on here. Great content. Back to it. Favorite moves, Brett. What is your favorite moves? So far.
Favorite moves. And this is going to be a homer one. I'm sorry, I got to do it. The Jalen Ramsey trade. I'm sorry, it was a good one. I mean, a 3rd round pick with a busted.
I'm not saying it isn't, but come on.
I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. Man, one of the I don't know. There's been a lot of good moves, but I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with what Denver's been doing. That's what I'm going to go with. I think Ben Powers going there. I think Mike McGlinchey then building up that offensive line. One thing that Sean Payton does really well is. Yep. I mean, the one thing that he does really well is offensive line and build offensive line. Zach Allen on their defense, getting Jarrett Stidham as a backup, which, I mean, does anybody else see him using Jarrett Stidham like Taysom Hill? But then, like, you have Pirine. So a lot of people are going to be like, so what? But if you look at Samaje Pirine, I mean, look what he did with Pierre Thomas. He was pretty much a nothing back and turned him into one of his stellar backs. So one of my other ones, I think what Detroit's been doing. So this is probably one of my favorite moves from them is oh shoot, I just lost my note here. My bad. Shoot. My computer froze. Anyway, I like what Detroit's doing. They bring back Alex and Anzalone, if I can say that right. But there it is. My favorite move from him is David Montgomery. Yeah. I know he's good, but yeah. But I love
good? Anzalone.
Anzalone's good when he's healthy. But I like what they did with David Montgomery because their identity is run the football. And what they did, they knew what they had in their backfield. And respect to Jamal Williams, but they upgraded Jamal Williams. They got a better back and David Montgomery. I really like that move because it sticks to what they do. This is what I'm talking about. Here's what our identity is. We're going to upgrade where we're at. And that's what they did. And that makes them a better team on offense automatically. So that's one of my favorite moves.
I've got the Browns because you've got Delvin Tomlinson, Juan Thornhill, Okoronkwo, like that. Those are 3 moves that build up their defense, which was a huge problem last year. I know letting go of Greedy hurts, but they have other corners there. They had a lot. They had a decent secondary last year that kept them in games, but I feel Delvin Tomlinson leaving the Vikings is a huge loss. He is a huge inside stuffer, and the Browns were getting ran all over last year inside. If you go watch the Washington-Cleveland game, it was bad. Juan Thornhill gives them that stability. They lost John Johnson. Juan Thornhill, Super Bowl champ, does his job really well. Familiar defense. They don't run the same scheme as Spagnuolo, but it's very similar. So he goes there and he can kind of jump right in. And Okoronkwo, I feel, has a lot of untapped potential, and it's so much better than freaking Clowney that they had. Oh my God, give me a break! Now him,
and that's how they released him.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be the Giants quietly. Everyone says they need a weapon.
I was getting ready to mention him. Thank you. I was getting ready to mention him.
Darius Slayton. Listen, I still think Danny Dimes is not it. I still think he's overrated as Danny Nichols. Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, Sterling Shepard. So they brought 2 back, 1 in, and then you add on Isaiah Hodgins and Wan'Dale Robinson. So you've got a nice plethora of weapons. Now can Danny Dimes use it? Well, sorry, Danny Nichols. And then Commanders, Andrew Wiley getting stolen from the Chiefs, going to Washington. Now Washington gets a big old stalwart tackle they can use. He's going to be solid. Like Wiley's a really good offensive lineman. So those are my favorites so far. But then I got one more I want to throw in there. I know you. I
got one more team I want to throw in there because I think, and this is going to hurt me to say, Minnesota and New England have had quietly solid free agencies. They've done. So hang on. I'm not saying they've done like all these things are going to be so much better, but they're like putting pieces in place. In New England, I don't know about that. But
they cut Eric Hendricks, Delvin Tomlinson, and they're going to cut.
Hold on.
Adam
Yeah, I
Thielen?
think they're going to rebuild their defense. Well, see, the Adam Thielen, I don't think it's going to hurt him because they haven't really had much production out of him lately.
Watch that
They haven't
man
really
ball out
used
where
him.
we go.
But when they got Ellison, they got Garrett Bradbury. They brought him back.
Bradbury's
Marcus Davenport,
trash.
but it still brought him back. They kept their offensive
Bradbury's
line
trash.
intact. I know. Oh, so they got they failed trading Cook. I really don't know why they didn't go ahead and
They
capitalize
can
on the
still do
trade.
it. They're going to do it after the
Ma-
draft. That's why I think all
Yeah.
this running back stuff is going to happen.
And I agree. And they got Madison back. They brought him back. Back to my point here. Dave keeps messing me up. Byron Murphy, I like that move. And the Josh Oliver pickup was a nice move. It was a quietly good move for them at tight end. He fits that offense. He's a good player. I think he's an upgrade of what they had, and he's actually on the field. So that's going to be a big upgrade over Irv Smith in that sense. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Okay. They re-signed Harrison Smith to keep him. The dude clearly lost a step last year. I don't care if he's locker room morale. He's going to be a starter.
I don't
Got
know
burnt
what's
way too. He got burnt way. He burnt way too much.
That one I don't
Byron
understand
Murphy,
because. Go ahead.
Hold on. Byron Murphy checked it. I don't know why everyone's raving about this guy. His passer rating allowed was 105.3.
Because Vance Joseph was his defensive coordinator. Well, when Vance Joseph was X's defensive coordinator, he was bad. When I like Vance Joseph, but he's not that good of a defensive coordinator.
He was just with Vance Joseph, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
And he couldn't produce with him.
I think he's going to be good in that Flores system, I think. And Marcus Davenport, also another good move. But the team I want to talk about.
Half the season.
That's true. But the team I want to talk about, Houston.
I agree. Houston's fun, but Minnesota going to go down, not in the playoffs.
But Houston picking up Noah Brown, a nice little piece in the slot. Chase Winovich on defense, nice solid defensive end. Plays will run well. Excuse me. Case Keenum as their backup quarterback. You like that because solid. I was kind of disappointed. I wanted him getting Robert Woods, Jimmy Ward, Sheldon Rankins. You see where I'm going with this?
D'Amico
got Andrew Beck, the fullback. Brought him over. Hassan Ridgeway brought him over from San Francisco. Mike Boone brought him over from Denver, the running back. You see where I'm going with this? They're bringing in solid pieces. They're putting a little bit of a core together. Houston's not expected to compete right now. They're putting something together. They're getting some solid pieces in place. They get a rookie. He's going to survive, and they're going to play physical defense up front. They want to play physical offense up front. It's kind of what they did in New England, and it's what they're doing here in Houston. And again, I go back to what New England's doing in the offseason. They're looking pretty good. They're doing some pieces. Juju Smith-Schuster to New England is a really, really good fit for them. He blocks. He's tough. He's physical. He makes stuff underneath. That's a good pickup. People don't like him because of TikToks. Oh, well, he does some of the dirty work that Belichick likes.
Fantasy value goes down. McCorkle's not good.
No, yeah, I get that. But he fits in what McCorkle does well, and that's play within inside the numbers, which isn't great, but at least he has somebody to throw there. And then they brought back Mac Wilson. I don't like the Riley Reef so much. Bringing back Jabril Peppers works really well for them. Jonathan Jones re-signing him, that was big for them because a lot of people expected him to walk. But James Robinson, I hate him going to New England because I think he's going to be good. I really do.
You got to compete with two other backs for time, though.
Right, but New England uses all three backs. They use all their backs, and Robinson's a perfect complement. Hey!
Okay.
Started taking a drink of my beer. Always got time for kids.
While we're taking a break, come on.
While we got a submission, subscribe. Look, we're family friendly.
Don't
make us use the family. If you don't like and subscribe, we're putting them in the cage.
Hold the door.
Good. That's mine. One team that I think, it's not going to have such a good has not had a great free agency, and except for the tackle they just picked up, is the Bengals. With everything going on, although the Browns have had a good one, but with Mike Brown trying to do what he's doing in the state of Ohio, that might deter some people away. That might be why they lost so many in free agency.
Well, they're in talks with Nick Scott, who was a solid safety last year for the Rams. Not saying he's going to be Jesse Bates, but he's still an above-average option that I think could fill in. Orlando Brown will be fine. I think will be fine in Cincy.
Oh yeah, Atlanta Brown's gonna be fine at left tackle.
Jonah
They're gonna
Williams
move-
will go there. Who's their other tackle? I can never remember his name. He came from Dallas.
Talking about Lyle Collins.
Yeah, he's probably going to get cut, is what it looks like.
Well, that'd be a good one for Miami to pick up.
They won't.
Well,
he's healthy.
Well, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Greer only targets the injured player. But no, I don't, dude. Since he doesn't have a lot of holes, like compared to, I don't know how they're supposed to improve when they've already got like a lot of it in place.
I don't know. I mean,
They
their
brought
offensive
back
line's their
Jermaine
biggest
Pratt.
holdup. That was a big one.
Yeah, they brought back Jermaine Pratt.
And they signed Cody Ford from Arizona. He's only 26. He's solid. Nothing special, nothing spectacular, but he's solid. Played
These
for
are pieces just to put in rotational and fit, like I feel like I don't know. I feel like the Bengals they were literally 1.5 drives away from being in the Super Bowl again. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Wasn't Cody Ford the one in Buffalo that was playing right tackle, then guard, then right tackle, then guard, then he was cut or traded, and Arizona had him. Then
I have to look that up. I do not know.
But yeah, he was a guy that kind of got bounced around. One underrated signing that people are going to overlook is Charles Omenihu from San Francisco. I think Houston originally drafted him. He's not been like this elite player or anything, but I think he's a solid fit, solid rotational guy. Just my opinion, just my thoughts.
Say hi.
Dave, how many kids do you have? Hi.
I keep around for tax shelters.
All right, I don't know why I just thought of the scene.
Close the door.
Dude, I just saw the scene in my head for Minions when they're waiting for the kiss. And he tucks the girls in.
It's exactly like that. It's just 2 boys and a girl. It's literally exactly like that.
And let's be honest, kids. My kid's a Minion, so I mean, I get it. All right, which way do you want to go next?
Well, we talked about big moves, got potential moves going on, favorite moves. Now, I got potential moves, but it's really kind of guessing where they're going. Kind of wrap this up, just a couple of them. I'm really shocked at tight ends. Mike Gesicki, Dalton Schultz. Hayden Hurst got paid, but none of the other big guys. Like, there's no other really big name tight ends getting signed, or like that's just the running backs. I get this. The little ones are starting to get sprinkled in. Like David Montgomery was a big one. Miles Sanders was a big one, but
even they weren't like the top. You know why? Because this draft has a lot of tight ends, has a lot of running backs, has a lot of linebackers. There's still some talent left. Like who's somebody that stands out to you?
Miami should go after
Miles Jack, Drew Tranquil. These guys are all available. Like who's available in your eyes that you're like he should be on a team or he'll be on a team and no
Frank freaking Clark.
Like How? I think teams are afraid of him. I guess I don't know, but I don't buy that.
Why?
I think they're afraid of publicity.
He just won 2 Super Bowls. Why would you not want him on your team? He helped produce it. I mean, then you also another one, Shelby Harris, defensive tackle that came from Denver, went to Seattle in the trade, got cut, had a great year for Seattle, and they went with Draymond Jones instead. They wanted to get younger by, I think, 2 or 3 years. Shelby Harris should be on the team right now.
You're looking for a solid veteran to fill in. You're looking for a good quality veteran to fill in for your defensive tackle spot. Take it all day. And that's why he's actually – so it's funny you mentioned that. He played for Vic Fangio, and I've mentioned that a team that could potentially get him, and this is my guy that could be a potential move. This is pure hypothetical. I think Christian Wilkins could be a trade candidate if the Dolphins decide that they don't want to pay him that much money and they want to trade him, and they can replace him with Shelby Harris to get a higher pick either for next year, this year, whatever, another move for something else. I don't know. Package deal to move up into the first. I don't know. But that's something I thought about. And those are the kind of things you start to think. But I think a lot of moves might happen after the draft. And you look at the top teams with cap space, it's really starting to dwindle down. So they might be waiting till after post June 1st. But I really do think that a lot of the running backs and stuff will start coming off the board or start happening.
Like right here. This is this is the list I'm looking at. I mean, I'm just trying to. I just brought this up. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., Bobby Wagner, Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah, people pass on him. Leonard Floyd is a hell of an edge that holds the run, is able to get after the pass. I don't understand why he's not on a team. Donovan Smith, solid tackle. This dude would come in day one. If I'm the Bears, I'm chomping at the bit to go put this guy at right tackle. He's a veteran that fills in, so you can maybe draft someone in the third or fourth round. That's shocking to me. Like Frank Clark, we just talked about. Mecole Hardman, he's a solid wide receiver too. I really do think Hardman could go to a team and be productive on a Raven. Another one. It just doesn't make sense in my head. And then DJ Chark.
Maybe teams are waiting for another team to make a move for something, and then all of a sudden it's going to go. Or they're waiting. Maybe they're waiting it out for a certain situation that they're watching, and then once something happens with that, they'll move. I don't know, but also keep in mind compensatory picks with that formula. When there's a cutoff date for that, release players trades, they don't count against it for spending. So, but I feel like some teams are waiting it out for compensatory picks too. So I don't know. There's a lot involved here, but teams are holding off.
Well, safety market, as we just mentioned, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Taylor Rapp, Julian Love, all really good safeties. To me, they shouldn't be unsigned right now. That's just me. You even have Ronald Darby, Rocky Sin out there.
Anybody who's coming off injury, I understand why they're holding off on these guys. I can totally understand. Anybody's holding off on guys.
This is the third wave. This is when they're usually signed. This is why I'm surprised. There's a lot of names out there.
Yeah, there is. Donovan Smith, left tackle.
Dude, put him at right tackle. Put him at right tackle for Miami right now.
I mean, a lot of teams could use him.
Put him at right tackle right now in Miami. Tell me that wouldn't
somehow he is only 29. He'll be 30 in June.
Tell me it doesn't make sense. Put Donovan Smith in Miami.
Yeah, no, totally. Holy shit. He's been in the league for 8 years. He's 30. He's young still. But,
anyway. Good ball in Tampa Bay. But anyways,
I'm just
folks.
Zach Cunningham's another one. Anyway, I'm going to he's not a huge, but I'm going to leave
traded twice and
I'm going to leave this out here and then I'm going to let it go to happen. Spot Track has Tom Brady listed as a free agent.
Oh, God, here we go. Anyways, folks, thank you for joining us. And we appreciate you in the comments. We appreciate you watching. We love having you. I know it's just two boring bearded guys talking football, just bullshitting around, but we really do love having you. Please please lick, like, and subscribe. Click it while you lick it. Anyways.
Whoa! Late night talk.
It's after 9 p.m., folks. It's legal. Anyways.
The kids are in bed.
Good, thank you. Bret, do you have anything before we want to get off?
That's it, man. It's been the kind of fun 2 days. Hopefully it picks up. Let's go.
Third wave just about ended, in my opinion. The first wave was that legal tampering, that first 24 hours. Second wave is when it goes into that legal free agency period. Now it's a full day after almost. That's the third wave. So now you're going to start seeing teams get value signings. Keep out for it. Trades can definitely still happen, i.e. Rodgers to the Jets. So we'll see if that happens. But, folks, thank you again. Click, like, and subscribe, since I said it right this time. And remember, mental health is important. If you need help, please call one of those hotlines. Google hotline, call 911, say you're having trouble, something, or reach out to a friend, family member, even if it's a stranger, something. Reach out because your mental health is important. You got to take care of it. We got your NFL coverage, and we also got your mental coverage, and we got your six.